So yesterday turned out to be a bit of a disaster. Went to IKEA with the intention of buying everything I need. An hour and a half's trip to get to Belfast, and took the van, and they don't have anything that I needed in stock. I should have really checked before I went there. So they advised me to go speak to somebody from the kitchen department, because I had my drawn out plans, just because this says, look, you need to think about hinges, and I was like, oh god, this is going to take forever. So we went down to the kitchen department and said, look, can I speak to a specialist please? She says, yeah, no problem at all, in 3 weeks time, would you like to book an appointment? I was like, what, 3 weeks? So anyway, we didn't speak to them. I basically went back to the app and I've ordered everything, but I have cocked up. I have 80 centimeters from the front driver's seat to the length of the bed, and I've accidentally ordered a 40 and a 40, which is great, which is the 80, but I've accidentally ordered a 20 cupboard as well, because I had space here and I forgot to factor that in. I forgot to factor this bloody bed in. I got a bit carried away. So there's a good chance it won't fit, but as long as I don't open the box, I'm going to order another 20. No, I can't. No, I can't. We'll just have to see what happens. We'll make it fit. We'll make it fit. Now, I've been shifting a panel around this van for months. Not sure. This original panel. Now I haven't recovered it because I didn't know where it fitted. I couldn't work out where it went. It didn't fit lengthwise, it didn't fit over there. It really didn't have a place in here until I started putting the panels back in, because I'm going to do the lights today on the roof, and I'm going to hide some of the cabling around the back of these side panels. And the other thing I've been doing is just measuring how much depth I have in here in the roof, because I don't want to be using too long of a screw that I puncture a hole in my roof. So I have to factor in the depth of the plyboard and the depth of this. So that's 20 mil, so that's not bad. And I roughly estimate I need about a centimetre, 10 mil, so I need 30 mil screws. But because of the carpet being quite thick, yeah, so I need 30 mil screws. So I'm going to go to the hardware store in next town over and get 30 mils just in case. So I'm going to put oh yeah, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, this panel, I'll tell you where it goes. We position this over here and we have a big fucking gap here, so it sits next to it, which is bandabby-dozy. So what I'm going to have to do is wire in the speakers. No choice. I've got another hole here with a speaker hole for it, and I'm going to be using the carpet that I've got for this panel, because I've run out of this stuff, and it was supposed to be a direct replacement, and there's just a slight change to it. But who cares? It's my van. I'm not selling it with the intentions of making a profit out of it. This is purely for me. So what I'm going to do with this panel, I can't even use this. I went to the scrapyard. Oh. I went to the scrapyard and I got my wee hook. I was going to use this hook as well. I can't use it, so this has to come off. I'm raging about that. Painted it and everything. So what I'm going to use this panel for is a quick swap out panel that I'm going to mount all my electrics on, the fuse boxes and everything else like that. And then the 20 centimeter width cabinet I've got coming will host the battery. So that's the plan. I'm going to get this battery in, just quickly secure it to the side of the chair until the cabinet comes in, and I'm going to mount it on inside of the cabinet, and then all the wiring is going to sit in the back on this board here. And you know what, I might actually make it visible. I might have it quite high up so I can access it, and just drill 2 holes, what do you call it, router 2 direct holes in here, and have it all like looking nice and neat with all the scraggy bits around the back. So if I only just secure this in, say with two bolts, one at the top, one in the middle, if I ever need quick access to it, it's easy enough just to take off. So that's enough chatter today. After yesterday's waste of space, well, I got to see my daughter in Belfast, so not a complete waste, obviously. Had a cup of tea with her and picked up my new iPad, my spare iPad for filming. Right, I'm waffling. I'm going to crack on. I have to go to the shop and get 30mm screws. Back in a bit. So I got this light fitting set from probably eBay. Comes with a handy remote control and a set of instructions. It has a connector block to sit in there, which has plenty of space in the roof. Now these are surface lights, so you just unscrew them to gain access to the back, and then you can screw them in. Let me make a hash of this. So you can, there's the LEDs. That's just a wee perspex filter, and then you just do the screw mounts to the back into your roof, and then you feed the cable. So you just really need to cut a hole through your fabric, your ceiling space, to hook this in, and it runs off a 12-volt adapter which is already fused. So boom, that goes in there, and then there's a 12-volt socket which is fused. So we'll just find out what the fuse rating is. Oh, no fuse. No fuse required. Oh, did I read that wrong? So we'll just, yeah, I read that wrong. On my bed. So we've got a fuse blade in here, which by the looks of it is unknown. Oh no, it's a 3 amp. Yeah, so I'm going to put a 3 amp blade fuse into the connector. I'm going to wire this up. So I'm just going to snip the cable basically, and then fire it in, because this is a bit not sexy. So I'll just put that in. I'll snip the cable and then see which one is, probably cost me a 10 amp, 3 amp fuse. See which one is the power. That then plugs into this unit, but before it does that, you plug it into I've dropped it out of the box. Oh no, it's in there. It's alright. You throw it into this receiver. So that goes into that. That then goes into that. And that is your LED controller, which is RF, so it's not line of sight, which will then allow you to do the brightness of the interior lights and switch them off. So I can hide this away, essentially. I'll just put a little strip of Velcro on the back of that and stick it to the wall, because that's how we roll here. So what I'm going to do then is mark down this ceiling board. Now I've got the support struts here that you nail into, so there's a 60 centimeter gap between this one and the one behind you. This is about 55, and there isn't one on the back. It's just a bolt if you want to put that one up there. So I'll flip this around the way I want it, and I'm going to run a center line. I'm still half tempted to put cabinets in here. Yeah, I don't know, haven't come to terms with doing it. These, so you put the ceiling in first, then you stick these in over the top, and then I'm going to drop all any cables around the back of them. So there's not a lot of distance to travel to the battery, which is going to go down there. And I've just started to think about my wiring as I start sticking things in. I'm still in the mind of having surface channeling for most things because I'm lazy. So yeah, and that's the old cable for the old interior light. I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I might actually, no, because this runs from the starter battery, so that's just going to be hidden away, made redundant. I don't have a use for it, I don't think. I could put one of them lights there, really, over the door. Would it fit? Have I got enough space? Well, I do have the space. So I could run the power from that one, because it's only a door light. Yeah. So I'll have one here, 4 up here. I don't need anything at the back because we've got reading lights going in. They come in a pack of 6, and then I'll have one directly over the kitchen area. Once I might even just stick it directly into the boards here as well, because there is gaps. Yeah, there's potential here because I can just screw it. I can have it half over the existing door light frame. If I show you. So there is the old original door frame light, and there's one replicated on the other side somewhere. There it is. So I could just have it sitting close to that and hide the cable and just drop it down behind this here. I'm still sad about that. It's like a VW-T4 monument. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to do that, and then I'll run the cable down inside the guttering. Yeah, so let's crack on with that, and I'll join you in a minute. So the screws that come with the light fittings must be about 5mm. They're rubbish. They're barely cutting through the carpet, so I'm going to get some longer ones. This is why when you're planning on building a van, you need to just have all sorts on standby, like different size screws, different tools. I went with Ryobi just because of the battery system, and then all their accompanying tools and bits and pieces. I've been building up for this build now for about 3 years, on and off, addicted to YouTube videos at 3 o'clock in the morning when I couldn't sleep. So let's go find some bigger screws. Go buy some bigger screws. Get. And I'm looking for some that are flush, because there's not a lot of space, obviously, and I don't want to crack the cover. Back in a second. So I'm hoping these 10mm screws will cut through it. Let's have a go. I'll just test one first to make sure it sits flush. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Right, let's see if we can screw it in. There, perfect. Bit of purchase. So I appreciate there's not a lot of distance between these two. However, I need to factor in shelving for this bottom part, which will be over that side. I think I'm going to lose me gazebo with the wind picking up the way it is. I have it tied to the neighbour's fence. Fingers crossed. Now, yeah, I'm going to keep that in centre. To put some weight on it. Don't know what I've got like. Let's just get these back on. I'm gonna see my neighbour's gazebo. It's blown to bits. He's got all the side skirts on it, side walls, skirts. What am I talking about? Come on. Just getting a thread, trying to find the thread. It's alright. That's it. Boom. Ba-da-ba-da. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. I think that was it. I feel like I'm cracking a safe here. Yeah, that's it. Right, rinse and repeat. Covers off. I can hear my window cleaners coming. God help them on a day like this. Neighbour's dog. Come back in a bit when it's all settled down. So a quick update on what I've been doing. I still haven't put the side panel in yet. What I've done is I've recovered the wooden beam that goes across, and I've recovered my random speaker doofer. Now I have been tempted, and I have started drilling over here a channel to put a speaker lead in there. Unfortunately, I should have done this before I carpeted it. Bit of prior planning and all that, but I had the intention of not covering this. Sorry, of just covering it with something. I took the panel off a little bit. No joy. I can't get a cable down to it, so I'm not going to bother. So I've got a hole, I've patched it, cleaned it, and this one, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put the speaker covers on. Who cares? No, well, I'll put the speakers on if there's room. There should be room. I'll put the speakers on. I'm just not going to wire them up purely for decoration. I didn't buy them, so it's not cost me anything. So what I'm doing at the minute then is fittering around with these lights. So I've had to cut the ends off because they're not long enough. The cables aren't long enough to where I'm going to situate the battery. So I've snipped them. Thankfully, they come with a cable with black on one side, that's your negative, and the nothing with on the other side is your positive. So white and black. I tested it. What I'm doing is I've been inundated with Instagram ads. Obviously, I'm in that buying mode for these things. They connect they have a little bit of solder in there. You heat them up, that melts over the top of it, and they connect your leads, which they have been working fantastic. I've melted a couple, overheated them, just to give it a bit of extra stability. I've been snipping these heat shrinks as well, just covering. Once I've got them covered, once I've got them connected, I've just added an extra layer of protection. So I'm using the little ones. They match the voltage, the wattage, sorry. I've got them on Amazon. They're called solder seal wire connectors, and the box is wild clicky, and when it clicks, everything jumps out of it. So just be careful of that. It's an absolute nightmare. I've got white bits where my blue bit's supposed to be and red bits where my white bit's supposed to be. So just be careful when you're opening these, because it's like a party trick. They just explode everywhere and wreck your OCD. My gazebo's going mental out there. The wind's certainly picked up. I've lost the good weather, and today's the last day. Really, I'll get a full day at this. So look at this: yellows, whites, and me blues. Right, get that back over there. That's where you belong. Otherwise, you'll not be able to close the lid. Anyway, I'm going to crack on, and I'll show you where I'm at, how I'm doing this. Talk to you in a minute. Well, I had to do some jiggery pokery there to get everything working again. So I've had to bring everything in, and as I was telling you, the slightest knock, just bring you down a bit, slightest knock to these feckin' things and they just go everywhere. So that was me slamming the door. I swear to God, you fart and these jump. So I'm gonna get a little box. I'm actually really impressed with these. I usually use the barrel connectors and the bullet connectors and spades and all that sort of stuff, but these are, apart from the fact that they bounce everywhere, they're a good job. Right, so I've had to come inside the van, which is a bit awkward because I've got no lights, which is a bit ironic actually because I'm fitting lights, and the reason for that is the rain's about to start, and it's the first time I've had rain in 7 days, and I took 7 days off. So where was I? Oh yeah, so on this here, I need to bring you down a bit so you can see what I can see. All right, so on these connectors here, what it is I've put a bit of heat shrink on there, and what you do is just don't forget to slide it on before you decide your length, otherwise you're going to be feeding it all the way up. So I'm making all these the same length, so and then I'll snip it, and then I can cut them to size later. Oh, look at that, blood, sweat and tears, Stanley knife. So wire cutters. Right, so that's them two done, and they feed up to these two lights in here. Hopefully you can, yeah. So these two lights go down to these cables, which I've extended. You can see obviously one's longer than the other, even though I've cut them the same length because one's further away. So now I've got these two to do. So what I'll do is get my cable ready. Drop it on the floor. Just split it. Still need to bring it down a bit. There, so you can see what I can see. Yeah, that's it, perfect. So let's get these snipped. I've already snipped these already. Yeah, okay, I can say already twice if I want to. You're the boss of me. So I'll just twist them up nice and tidy. Get a little white one. And what I've noticed is one end is bloody smaller than the other. So I'm using the thinner cable on here. The thin end goes on the thinner cable. And it's like threading a needle. So you see the copper has gone beyond the solder. Best thing to get things prepared, so I'm just going to leave that to hang. Get me a little heat shrink, which I just advised you to do. Feed that through, let that drop. Get my lighter as a heat source to slowly connect these together. So there's a black strip on there which corresponds to my black negative on here. I'm so glad I have a wee headlamp that goes with this camera. So I get that in, get that, you can just get them to overlap. Okay, get them out of the way and just apply a little bit of heat. See, it shrinks on. Not too much because you'll melt it. Try not to burn your hands. Stay safe out there, kids. A little blow. Just cool it down. Just get to the other side. Conscious of my fingers. That's it. And that's it. It's really flexible when it's wet or when it's warm, so just be conscious of that. Otherwise it'll just stretch out and then you're buggered. Let's get another one. Let's do the positive. Just give it a twist so they get it all together. Find out which one is the thinnest. That one. Listen to that rain. I've got half a day off tomorrow. I'll be in here. And it's now what you would call bouncing. Connect that in there. So you want both halves to pretty much meet at the solder. Shite. You want to hold the heavier end, which is obviously this one. A bit of heat. That looks good. That's me blowing. Okay. So you can see that. That's pretty solid. But just belt and braces. Pick up me. Heat shrink. And this is really just to be doubly sure, to be doubly sure. And that's that. Right, so that's going nowhere. Let that cool down and on to number 2. Right, so you know where I'm at, and what I'd basically do is when I get to the other end of these cables here, once I've got everything in situ, I will then cut them to length and put their other ends on to these. Okay, so I've got them all stored up here, safe and sound. And then we can plug it into this unit here. It's pretty neat. Now I've got it wired up. Let me just show you, just for effect. Oh, I've turned my dashboard socket off. Yeah, and he reaches through. There we go. Now we're back in the room. So. On, bright as you like. Look at that. And it's got 100% brightness, 100, 50, 25. And then you can go lower, 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 lower until it gets to about 10, I think. And then you got disco mode. If you are going to suffer from seizures, and you just switch it back to light mode. And it's line of sight RF, so you don't need, it's not line of sight, sorry. Though you do get a nice little light to let you know it's working. So I'll get all these wired up. Now I've got this one ready to go. The reason I haven't fitted it yet is because I've got some 4mm trim to go around this just to tidy it up. I hate this. I absolutely hate this with a passion. Whoever fitted this window needs to be taken outside and shot and then shot again. So I don't know what I'm going to do about this yet, but either way there's still got to be a curtain there, so that might appease my aesthetics. So but when I get this trim, it's 1mm depth, 4mm down, and it's on its way, and I'm just going to cut it around the edge just to make it nice and tidy. And once I've got that in perfect, because I'm going to be obviously tapping it down, I'm going to have this light fit in here, bolted in just there through the metal. And I've already ran the cable, which is sitting behind this carpet, which will obviously then be hidden again further with the next panel. And then I've got the conduit coming down here, so it's in there, stop it chafing off anything. So, and that's ready to be wired in down the bottom. So I'll probably just tack that in somehow with some 10mm clips that I've got coming. I've got 20mm piping. I'm in two minds whether to still use it, because the only thing really running is the cable from, I don't know, the previous owner had this up here, and I thought, okay, we'll see. So I don't know. I've got the same there again. It runs either side. I think it's just as an option. That already has a plastic surround protecting from cable rub. That one I've stuck a grommet in because it didn't. And that cable is pretty redundant at the moment. I don't know what to do with it. It's basically just two of these, probably for a light fitting up there at some point. I might even just take this one out, I don't need it, and then that's it there, just take it out. And this one I might keep in as a light fitting that I can control out the back. If we'll put a light across there pointing down, so if we're having a barbecues at night, we can have something to catch all the midgies' attention, and they can all sleep in here with us. So yeah, that's where I'm at the minute. I'm just this boring job, fucking around with this, and then getting it all in. So my cabinet's arriving in 2 weeks' time, all fitted in here. Rock and roll bed secure. It's a little bit further back than I would have liked, because now I can't get this panel to sit on comfortably because the wheel arch is in the way. So it could have been done, I should have thought about that, even just an inch further forward. It would have hid that, but I'm a tit and didn't think that through. But hey, it is what it is. Whoa, let's get you back in there, sailor. So that's my little bag of 40mm screws that I'm using for the roof, and because they're not black ended, I'm gonna have to tap them with a little bit of paint, because I don't want to be looking at the 3 stars at night, as you can see up there. Oh, a couple. So yeah, anyway, I'll get back to this, chat to you in a bit. Fun times. Good morning, strangers. So today's the last day that I've got dedicated. Well, I've got till 3 o'clock, to be honest, because I've got to get to work. It's now, oh Jesus, 20 to 11. So had to go down to the hardware store again just to get longer screws, because the ones I bought, the 40mm ones, don't fit, don't reach the struts on the inside. So I've had to get 50mm, which is the largest that they do, that fit those little black surrounds. So I'm going to try and get them in today. I'm going to run the cables. I had a little think about it last night. The cables are kind of running low on here. They're not shielded, but everything's quite protected down the back of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to masking tape them. Not masking tape, what do you call it? Gaffer tape them just a little bit higher up in the anti-rub zone, which is probably around about here and this height, because the panels don't sit flush for some reason. It is what it is. And then once I've got this side panel on, all I have left then to do is my speaker panel, we call it. So I've put in a false speaker. Well, it's a true speaker, but it's not getting wired up. And then I'm going to leave this off. All I need then is I can run all the cable channels around the back of this. There's plenty of room. and this will be my on and off board until everything is secure when the cabinets arrive next week. I think it's next week. What days are we on today? Yeah, next week, not this week, next. So they'll all arrive on Saturday the 1st of October, and then we'll start putting those in. And then I'm going to go find a worktop specialist in Derry, and I'm also going to be a bit cheeky and ask him to cut out a hole for my Smeg, whatever sink, the 9122. It's quite a big bastard, and I bought it. It came second hand with the van, and it doesn't have the cutting guide, so I've no template for it either. So it's going to be an absolute mare for me personally. I'll just hack the work surface that I'm going to be paying for. I think that'll probably be the only splash of colour, really, unless I'm thinking a bit of green. So if I can find some green trim, U-trim here. I haven't washed the other one yet. That's to go on the other side. I'm going to give that a scrub. But if I can get a green one, I'm going to stick green down there and have some sort of greenish kind of countertop, just to add a bit of colour, because it's pretty dark in here. Not that I'm bothered. I quite like it. But it is pretty devoid of colour. Even the front covers of the doors are going to be anthracite. I think the splash of colour will come from the soft furnishings and the cushions, things like that. But other than that, yeah, I quite like it. Anyway, I'm going to crack on. Quick check over my shoulder. I bought a cheeky sausage bar. I shouldn't be eating it because I'm supposed to be losing weight. And the Dr. Pepper, because what's the worst that could happen? See you in a minute. I'll put you on time lapse and you can watch me struggle and sweat and swear. Well, you won't hear me swear because I'll be on time lapse. So see you in a bit.